I spend a lot of time browsing the internet, and oftentimes it leads me to some strange places. With all this time spent, I'm in on a lot of obscure jokes that, if shown to a normal person, will probably have them scratching their heads. These strange places are often home to some of the most creative and artistic pieces of art in the form of wojaks. Some of them I would even consider fine art. And in today's video, we'll be looking at Soyjak Lore and trying to explain some of the more schizo / obscure wojaks that I have curated in my years on the internet. Also, we're going to have a game at the end with the most hyper-specific wojaks that I have found, and you can play along and try to guess the context given just the image, which I think is pretty fun, so you should stick around. Starting with a classic, a good introduction into obscure wojaks, which is the fishjak. Now, there isn't actually a lot of information on the fishjak. Yeah, we're off to a great start to this video about explaining wojaks. But I'm like 70% sure this one was just made as an anti-wojak to troll Reddit, as there's quite a few variations with the Reddit antenna. And the fact that it has no meaning and is just a fish wojak for the sake of being a fish wojak is kind of funny to me. The only other backstory to this wojak is this one where the fishjak is browsing the internet and it was captioned with, "You definitely need to try AI, it's an unforgettable experience," which I would presume was sarcastic. This fishjak is actually a sequel to this previous fishjak where Azuma pours Sproke into a fishbowl, killing the fishjak. Sproke is just Sprite mixed with Coke, by the way. The wings and snorkel were probably added to add a further level of irony, given that most fish don't need to fly or a snorkel to breathe underwater. There are other fishjaks, including my favourite theme of wojaks, which are the meta ones. And this reverse fishjak is pretty funny to me. I especially like the detail that the arm is replaced with a fin and the lack of nose. But anyways, fishjak is pretty obscure and interesting, so I'm going to give it 6 stews out of 10. Our next wojak is actually my favourite wojak, and I have to say it's probably one of the best memes leftist online circles have made, as it was created by bunkerchan, which is a leftist offshoot of 4chan. It was used to poke fun of incels and 4chan users in a not so subtle way, but it then later metamorphosized into something greater, and it's now mostly used in a self-deprecating way, especially when it's used to convey the "West has fallen" idealogue and the "billions must die" meme. This being a parody of the alt-right's obsession with the supposed decline of the West, combined with the only supposed solution to that decline. This over-the-top ridiculousness has led to some of the best memes that have ever come from wojaks in my opinion. I think that a lot of it has to do with the fact that the word die rhymes with a lot of things, which just allows for parodies to seamlessly take the wojak and put their own spin on it whilst keeping the essence of the original wojak. I think a lot of it has to do with the seriously unseriousness of it. Like, look at this one, I'll give you about 5 seconds to guess what the context is. It's literally the dude from the Bee Movie as a chudjak with a bees must die shirt. If I'm being honest, Ken from the Bee Movie was the only sane person. He literally got cheated on by a bee, and then his girl leaves him to help her new bee boyfriend sue the human race. This wouldn't even be that bad if it wasn't for the fact that he was also deathly allergic to bees. Which is like if you had a cockroach allergy and you wake up to a note from your wife that said she was leaving you for the cockroach in your house. So not only did that cockroach live in your home rent-free, it also took your girl. A generational L, if I must say. By the way, I didn't even know these cockroach wojaks existed, which is another reason why wojaks are the pinnacle of memery, because it means that one person, for one reason or another, took it upon themselves to think of and draw these wojaks, and then upload them on the internet, where they ended up in this video. Life is indeed strange. For the chudjak, I'm going to give it 9.5 stews out of 10. Very versatile and also very funny. Congratulations to chudjak. Next, we have the say the line wojaks, and again, these are another look into the creativity and human imagination. These wojaks were actually created in response to all the hyper-specific wojaks, poking fun at them by having them say a pun based on their appearance, like in the first iteration, with a gigachad asking Soyjak to say the line. You get a lot of different variations with these, with even a fishjak one, as well as other forms of the say the line wojak. My favourite of these has to go to the say the line pjak, because it's so ridiculous in its portrayal, as well as the good ending version, which is weirdly wholesome. There's also this German one, which, even though I have little to no exposure to German meme culture, I know that this wojak probably goes hard in the paint for the Germans, tickles them right out of their lederhosen. Related to the say the line wojaks, we have the suspiciously shaped wojaks, which is another case of hyper ridiculousness, which I just love. And being honest, some of these descriptions of items do sound mightily appetizing. I mean, who wouldn't have a little nibble of a 75mm artillery emplacement that someone had just left lying around? Overall, I'm going to say the Say the Line wojaks are a 6.5 stus out of 10. Here are some honorary mentions before we get into the hyper-specific wojak game. We have the incelephant, and fun fact, this is actually the highest quality version online to my knowledge, and I was actually the one to redraw it for my incelephant elephant video, so if you want a high quality incelephant wojak, then here you are. We also have the vacuum jack / vacuum related wojaks, which is a micro niche within the Soyjak Lore. There's actually a lot of micro niches around. You can really go down the rabbit hole and find all sorts of things. Hell, there's even this ear niche that just sticks ears on wojaks. Landlord advocacy group wojak, flat earth wojak. This soup one, which makes me laugh and I can't explain why, it's just so ridiculous. If I'm being honest, I had to Google what an epistemologist is, and now that I know, it's pretty amusing. What, you think I'm going to tell you? Nah, go to Google and learn something like I did. This Walmart wojak is also pretty great, especially the BPA conspiracy one. We even have a carcinogen maxing wojak. But yeah, this is all I have for the honorary mentions wojaks. Okay, let's get into the game show. So the rules are, it's basically going to be multiple choice answer with 4 answers and 1 image. You just have to match the correct context to the hyperspecific wojak. Let's play the guess the correct context for the hyperspecific wojak game. We're working on the name, by the way. Okay, question 1. We'll start off pretty easy for you guys, as this one is pretty recent and pretty big, so you should know it. Is the correct context A NASA training exercise video that was leaked, in which the astronauts panicked and nearly ran out of air? B, a bunch of billionaires on a submersible that has malfunctioned and are running out of air? C, a military exercise gone wrong off the South China Sea, resulting in near war? Or D, I don't know, a bunch of guys straight chilling? Okay, the correct answer is B. It is a wojak art piece depicting the Titan submarine that was on a voyage to the wreck of the Titanic at the sea floor, in which 5 of them had died due to a malfunctioning game controller. Okay, so everyone probably got that one. An easy one, I might say, but next we have this one. Is the correct context A, the Guinness World Record attempt for longest game link ruined by a shark eating the connection wire? B, government released sharks start skipping using skipping rope? C, a large gaming community attempted to poison a large shark off the coast of mainland Australia for no other reason than they could? Or D, sharks are now chewing on underwater internet cables on the sea floor, mistaking them for food? The answer is actually D. And it was a big enough problem that it led to Google wrapping their underwater cables in Kevlar to avoid any outages that could be caused by sharks biting through the cables and bringing the internet down. A bit harder, but I still think you had it. This one is actually harder though. Is it A, a wojak of a famous poet depicting his enemies in hell? B, a recreation of a famous Roman painter's greatest work in the form of wojaks? C, wojak of the early life of a famous Christian preacher telling someone they're going to hell? Or D, the ramblings of a schizoid person from 4chan? The correct answer is actually A. It is a wojak of Dante holding up a picture of one of his enemies burning in hell, which refers to when he wrote in his piece Dante's Inferno about how all his enemies are burning forever, and that he was also right about arguments that were occurring in his present life. What a Chad move, writing a piece of literature that basically makes you out as a genius and says all your enemies are in hell, and it's so great that it's even read to this day as famous historical literature. Okay, this is the final one, and I doubt any of you will actually get this without it being a guess. Is it A, a recreation of World Trade Center 7 falling? B, a recreation of leaked classified US documents of a space laser? C, a scene from a children's game? D, a recreation of a green building collapsing after the Japanese earthquakes in 2011? The correct answer is C, a scene from a children's game, which was Roblox, and the game was called Brick Battle Doomspire, in which you had 4 teams of the primary colours who fought in the middle with swords and other weapons. I remember playing it back in 2009, back when I was 10, that was literally peak Roblox era. Okay, so that's all we have for today for Soyjak Lore. If you got all the questions in the hyper-specific Wojak game right, you get an imaginary medal, which you can collect in the comment section. Apart from that, if you liked the video, consider liking and subscribing, but other than that, thanks for watching, hope to see you in the next video. Bye.